Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a very exciting session today. Because the fact is that Shah Rukh Khan has a big problem with his next upcoming film, King. And what is this problem which he is facing? What is the crisis he is facing? We'll be talking about that in detail, as well as Honey Singh has landed in a new controversy. What is this controversy? We'll be talking about that and much, much more. Welcome each and everyone. Welcome Ree. Welcome Sunita. So friends, if you do like our content, make sure to smash the like button. And yeah, let us start with the beginning story is that SRK's next film is The King. And what is very interesting is that this film of SRK, the shooting and everything, the sequences of the shooting was supposed to happen in Dubai as the location for major shoot. Now, because of the war between Iran, Israel, and the US, and also the fact that there's a lot of aerial interceptions and strike, and Dubai is also affected by the whole conflict which is going on, and the rising geopolitical tensions in Middle East. All this has given a lot of concerns for the safety about the whole crew, including the likes of Shah Rukh Khan. Prioritizing the safety of the cast and crew, the team decided to cancel the Dubai schedule altogether. Instead of pausing production, they shifted gears and began recreating the desert environment back home in Mumbai. So, usually controlled studio setups and set design, they aim to replicate the scale and intensity originally, which was meant for Dubai shoot. It's a move that reflects how modern filmmaking balances ambition with practicality. So this is how desperate they have become, and how they are trying to recreate the whole action sequences seen in Mumbai, and according to them, Dubai is not a safe place to shoot because of the safety concerns for SRK and the whole team at
So,
this point of time. Now,
so
friends, yeah, I just want to add a couple of
yeah,
points. Shah Rukh Khan was the brand ambassador of tourism for Dubai. Okay. Point number two, Shah Rukh Khan, his name was, based on his name, a certain real estate major developer in Dubai, has created a whole building which is called Shah Rukh's, and he's selling that whole building at this time when there's so much of uncertainty in Dubai, and according to a lot of factual websites, the real estate value has taken a plunge because Dubai, which is painted as this a bubble of being secure and everything, and people can invest their money and everything. But right now, because of this ongoing conflict between Iran and US and everything, this image has been taken a hit, and so this is how Bollywood actors, they have to eat their own words. Wasn't it the likes of Amir Khan who said, India is not a, I don't feel safe as a Muslim inside India. Now my question is, do you feel safe as a Muslim, Mr. Amir Khan, sitting in somewhere in Dubai or Qatar or any of the Gulf countries, or in fact in Iran? So do you feel safe there more than India? That is the question. We have to ask all these Khans, right? And also certain left-wing lobbyists who said India is not safe. Yeah, so it is over to you.
yeah. So it's very strange, isn't it, friends, that man proposes and God disposes. Seems to be more, the scenario here. The recent disruption to the film King is a textbook example, of the irony you've noted, where meticulous human planning meets the unpredictable, and this is how the world, works. So, despite securing all necessary permissions, for a grand week-long shoot in Dubai starting April 9 this year. The production has been forced to scrap its international plans entirely because of the ongoing Iran-US-Israel war. This shift highlights a stark contrast between professional ambition and external reality. Now, this is something that the Khans, I'm talking about all the Khans, would not have predicted because, UAE has been seen as a safe haven where you get the golden visa and you're so safe you don't want to come to India at all. So this has been the kind of sort of string that they've thrown at all the people in India, saying that, see, India is not safe, as Jaydev just mentioned. Now, the production team had spent months prepping for a high octane desert action sequence in Dubai, featuring Shah Rukh Khan and Anil Kapoor. It was intended to be one of the film's most ambitious set pieces, utilizing the vast natural landscapes of UAE. Now, if you look at the kind of intervention that's happened in between, rising geopolitical tensions in West Asia created a volatile security situation that made an overseas schedule a significant risk. To prioritize the safety of the cast and the crew, he says that they are going to do it in India itself. While the team had total control over their script and technical requirements, they could not control global climate. So I'm surprised because when the king is so much in control of things, how come the king could not control the shooting of this film? Is the irony part. The irony lies in the fact that the film is also entitled King, centered on a character who commands power, must now yield to forces far beyond any individual's authority. So rather than allowing the project to stall, now they're proposing to do it in Mumbai. So how do they do that? A massive desert set is being constructed inside a studio in Vilepale to replicate director Siddharth Anand's original vision. Now, ironically, this forced change may offer the team more control over lighting because whenever you do something inside, a studio, you have more control. So perhaps in that sense, they could be, lucky. And the irony is that for a veteran like SRK, who has been facing a lot of highs and lows, now especially more lows, this is another moment where man-planned stage has been interrupted. So the other incident that has happened is Durandar 1 and 2, which is something that the Khans and the big superstars like, Akshay, and a lot of the others have not, anticipated. And Ajay Devgan, all of these people think that they are the superstars of, Bollywood, and none of them, sort of predicted that Durandar 1 and Durandar 2 could be such a success that it will destroy Bollywood movies once and for all. Now, the recent disruption of this film is a example of the irony that we said again, that see what they plan and what God God makes happen is totally the opposite. So Shah Rukh Khan would be rather surprised that and shocked as to how what is going to be his next plan of action. So let me just take a few comments, very good comments coming from all of you. So let's start with Sunita. Sunita says, already SRK is a flop since fan movie. Now with the stupendous success of Durandar, they are in a more confused state. And she also says in Durandar movie, the director made sure that every character was etched well and given importance with peak detailing. SRK and the other so-called stars want the limelight only on them. And she also continues saying that hero elevation at every given moment is passe. I feel at the present moment. And I agree with you, Sunita, absolutely on that. And Lena says, when will he retire? Such an old rich actor, yet he isn't stopping chasing money, is what she says. And then you have he has a restaurant in UAE, says Dina. SRK is a hero in his own mind and his own universe. Nobody thinks of him as a king anymore. Absolutely. That is the absolute truth. Now, Ajit says the water drop playing on a low petal has an extremely uncertain existence. So is life ever unstable. Understand the very word is consumed by disease and conceit and is riddled with pranks. Shankara. Yes, this is a perfect saying, Ajit. Renu says these Muslim radicals are more safe surrounded by Hindus. There are single Hindus between, Muslim community is what Renu says. And Lina says safest place for these people is Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan. Why don't they leave? And Ree says, "Oh, very long time since we saw you, Ree. Welcome. Always happy to see you." Result: too much mal. Drugs has made Shah Rukh lose his own brain. So that is questionable, of course. We do not know. King in his own mind, when rest of world thinks he is nothing. And Ree also says, uh, can control public and his PR, but how the king is going to control the universe with what money is the question. And Renu says, let's take Sankalp that we collectively boycott any anti-nationalist movie and any anti-Hindu movie. So these are all thoughts coming from our viewers, fast and furious. Yes, back to you, Jeff. You're mute.
Yeah. Also, the fact that the IPL matches of Kolkata Knight Riders, where SRK is an owner, he is not to be seen in any of the recent matches of Kolkata Knight Riders. So, why is that happening? Because it is his own team. He has so much of time on his hands. Even this shoot has got postponed. So why is he, hiding from public eye? He is not to be seen in any of the Bollywood, you know, friendly channels as well. He has not given any podcast recently. So all in all, this Durandar, film craze has completely shattered the confidence of the whole of Bollywood. That is what has happened, and they are just giving some lame excuses, to postpone this shoot of his film King, and because they are afraid that people might not go to the theaters and see his film. So this is resting on his mind somewhere, and also the fact that it is very very difficult for films after Durandar in Bollywood to create a huge impact. And also, I would like to add one more point is that the Ramayan trailer just released, and people are saying that the VFX is so bad, friends, and that so much of money is wasted. That is 10 billion. Even if you give $10 billion, they will have very bad VFX. That is what some of the people were joking and saying. And I just saw the trailer of the Ramayan, by Ranbir Kapoor, and his expressions are just not there. He has this
In
wooden
fact,
expressions.
Jaydev, see, you
Yeah.
will see very cleverly what the director has done. They show only 1 second of him. All the other things are absolutely from AI, kind of creations. Nothing is where you actually see the characters. So then why don't you call it a cartoon or an animation film? Because you're not showing the hero or the heroine or all the other characters. Or are you testing the public? Now it seems like for a long time you've been testing the public to get, people have been actually sort of cursing you, and a lot of people have been giving you negative comments, so you have slowly delayed the production. So is this also another way to test the audience, the what you call what they feel about it, isn't it, Jaydev?
Yeah, and also the fact that this whole of Ramayana, it is quite apparent that the VFX use looks like AI. The use of AI technology in this film is very very apparent, and it is quite obvious that they are trying to cut cost in this film, because they know that the business of filmmaking in Bollywood is a very very risky proposition. And now, even the likes of Karan Johar, who had back-to-back flops, he has realized that he has to cut deals with all these OTT platforms like Netflix and Amazon Prime to fund their films. And that is the only way that these people are surviving right now. Even SRK's son, Netflix sponsored him to make his own series in Netflix, which we all know about. So, yes, Leena ji, the actors feel by making films on Hindu gods, people will watch. Yes, that is what they were trying to do. It looks like Adi Purush Part 2 is what I would say. The same VFX, the quality
Yeah.
of VFX graphics and everything is, if you see the trailer, you can understand. You just compare it to any of the classic Hollywood films like Gladiator, which was released so many years back. Yes. So, coming to the next piece of news, and it's with regards to Priyadarshan. And Priyadarshan has commented on Durandar 2, and he has said that according to him, the balance of power in Hindi cinema has shifted significantly and not in favor of writers or directors. He believes actors have become the dominant force shaping films, and he pointed out to the success of Durandar 2. And he contrasts this with the Malayalam films in that despite having smaller budgets, filmmakers tend to prioritize storytelling above all else as compared to Bollywood. The focus there is content, not star power. And interestingly, the approach is that what's helping regional cinema gain wider recognition today, especially in the age of streaming platforms. So he makes a very important point that Bollywood needs to remember that content matters more than glamour. So this is a very important point that he has raised, and he has clearly said that that South Indian films, like especially the likes of Malayalam films, they focus on quality content in their storylines and everything, and that is why people are watching Malayalam films from all across India and the globe.
So, also, Jaydev, when Priyadarshan, comments, Priyadarshan nearly has 100 films to his credit. So he says that Hindi films has become a landscape where creators lack full control. Okay. He says that actors have become the dominant force, which is something that Sunita was also commenting on, and often leading to a situation where directors and writers are forced to make what others want and not what they want. So the story is given the least significance, and directors are also given less importance. Now, if you're looking at the multiple stakeholders, beyond just actors, he points out that producers and various other stakeholders it frequently interfere in the storytelling process. So I'm sure they would be saying they want Tamanna instead of Kajol. So a lot of interferences will be there according to the producers, which effectively ties the hands of the filmmakers. Now, in this Bollywood, you also see that there's a lack of experimentation. This power shift has made Bollywood resistant to new ideas. Instead of taking risks, the industry tends to follow a formula-driven approach. In fact, some of the old Shah Rukh Khan movies, the same tunes and same rags are even used in today's movies. So, where one successful film triggers a wave of similar unoriginal projects. See, for example, if you see an Arijit song, or coming from these Bollywood movies, another 100 other singers will be singing the same tune or the same rag. So it becomes rather boring. Now, this loss of control isn't just about the script; it extends to the very environment of on a set. So, Priyadarshan recently expressed exhaustion over the entourage culture unique to Bollywood. So, this is something that many people in Bollywood have said that it is very overcrowded. He describes sets being overwhelmed by dozens of people, stylists, social media managers, bouncers, who often block the director's visual field and hinder the actual work of filmmaking. He also says that there's a terrible financial burden. These large entourages add significant costs to production, sometimes leading to budgets cuts supporting cast members, while the stars team continues to draw high fees. So, if you have a top actors like Deepika Padukone or somebody else, what will happen is they'll get their 10 vans, which is one fitness van, one cooking van, one makeup van, and one resting van, and also another one for interaction. So in total, each superstar or actress will have all these entourages. Now, Priyadarshan also contrasts this with the Malayalam film industry, which are often made on small budgets. He believes the Malayalam film industry focuses more on content and storytelling, despite having much smaller shoestring budgets. His blunt advice to Bollywood is that it must prioritize content over glamour to see true progress. Ironically, while he critiques this system, he is currently navigating it himself with his comeback film Bhoot Bangla, reuniting with superstar Akshay Kumar. It remains to be seen if veterans like him can reclaim creative authority in an era increasingly defined by star driven franchises like the recent record breaking Durandar. Now, if you look at also the fact that, see, he is no great person to take advice from, because a lot of his films have been, also using people, superstars like Mohanlal and all. But there was a time when he used beautiful content, which used to bring in comedy as well as good stories. So this is something that's certainly lacking in Bollywood. So let me just take a few comments. Dina says Bollywood content has always been anti-Santani, anti-Indian. And Renu says, yes, she speaks about Priyadarshan. He has made a joke of Rajpal Yadav's Desi Sadhu character. Yes, absolutely. And Priyadarshan himself makes agenda. Yes, that's what I mentioned. He's not someone that we should follow very closely, but just a few points that he's given are also true. I'm sure Priyadarshan knows better, and we may have his own tantrums as a star, but gave his 100% to Duranda, says KK. And Renu says Malayalam industry shows so much propaganda. Check out recent films. Absolutely 100% true. Movies like Empuran, which was pushed by, Prithviraj, funded by Prithviraj and, these other people like Mohanlal's, producer. See, it was all very, very agenda driven, just like the earlier movie Lucifer, and we have criticized it like anything, right? And also, if you're taking Dhanashree says, even Tevino Thomas's movies are propaganda. He was mocking Kerala story in two. Yes, and of course, he was praising Shah Rukh Khan, to the skies. Because see, these people, if they feel that if they don't praise the, Khans of Bollywood, they will not be able to survive. Yeah, back to you, Jerry.
Yeah. Now coming to next, piece of news, and that is with regards to Honey Singh. And Honey Singh, is in another controversy, which he had a concert in Mumbai, and it was part of his ongoing My Story India tour. And apparently, soon after the event, serious concerns began to surface about the safety violations. And in many ways, in fact, the situation escalated to the point where an FIR was filed against the event organizers. So, what went wrong? According to reports, one of the biggest issues was the use of laser lights during the concert. Now, that might sound like a standard part of any show, but here's the catch. The venue, located near the airport zone, has very strict regulations. Laser lights are either restricted or require special permissions because they can interfere with aircraft operations. Despite these restrictions, the organizers allegedly went ahead and used them anyway, and that wasn't the only problem. Uh, the authorities were expected to hold a crowd of around 1,200 people, but what actually showed up was somewhere between 18,000 and 20,000 attendees. So, with such a large crowd, managing security becomes very difficult, and reports suggested that police face challenges controlling the situation, raising concerns about crowd management and emergency preparedness. So, my question is, how did the organizers, including Honey Singh, encourage this, right? It's a very serious issue. It was something like if you remember, the Chinnaswamy Stadium in Bangalore.
Yeah,
And also, I remember about the KK, how the singer KK, how he,
yeah,
unfortunately
right.
he passed away. And So these are things which are happening, and
So
yeah.
yeah. So to be brutally frank, this episode exposes a very dangerous cocktail of arrogance, negligence, and the chalta hai attitude. Which is okay. Everything is okay. That plagues the high-profile entertainment in India. When you look at the Sunny Singh's My Story India tour, the irony is thick. An event designed to celebrate the story of a comeback instead becomes a story of reckless endangerment. The use of laser lights near an airport zone isn't just a technical oversight, it's a blatant disregard for aviation safety. But when has Bollywood ever bothered about the country at all? Is what would be my question. The venue's proximity to the airport meant strict regulations against laser to prevent pilot distraction. And the organizers likely prioritized the visual spectacle and the artist's ego over the lives of hundreds of passengers in the sky. Can you imagine when you're flying and this is happening? The accident that could have happened. They banked on an idea that because it was a superstar event, they were above the law. So this is what Bollywood has always been flaunting, that they are so great that they're always above the law and there are people to protect them. Now, the filing of an FIR, first information report, proves that this wasn't just a minor slip up, it was a legal breach. Organizers often treat safety protocols as optional suggestions or hurdles to be bypassed to save time and money. By allegedly ignoring restrictions and proceeding without proper permissions, they essentially gambled with public safety for the sake of a better Instagram aesthetic. This incident mirrors the broader problem you see with the Khans and the industry at large, the planning versus what is reality. Just as Shah Rukh Khan's King shoot was halted by a global reality, Honey Singh's concert was hit by a legal reality. It highlights a culture where the show must go on at any cost, even if that cost is the safety of the city or the legal standing of the creators. So you understand how much they care about people, the common man. They don't care at all. Or as long as the show goes on, whether it is King Khan or whether it is Honey Singh, the show must go on. People, pilots and all may suffer, people may die due to accidents. That's all okay. The show must go on. Yeah, back to you, Jim.
Yeah, very good comment by Renu. And says that my close relatives work in the airport. Such a huge violation is extremely dangerous and makes it difficult for air traffic controllers and pilots to do their job. So my question is, how are they allowed to have such a concert near the airport? That is the big question, especially in Mumbai. So I don't know why the Maharashtra government is not taking big action against the organizers, especially here. Why Kerala film industry is in a denial mode when it comes to something related to Hindus as love jihad.
Yeah,
I'm sure
because
that,
you see, Kerala is completely now a leftist state. Okay, and there is, the Malayalam industry is completely controlled by jihadis. So it becomes like that.
yeah. But the funny thing is, the Kerala story part 2 has done commercially very well. So that's a very good thing that awareness is being spread about love jihad. Yes. So that's all the news for today, friends, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Until then, Jai Hind and Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.